That we have a good idea of what Snowflake is at a 30,000 foot level, let's turn to a quick conversation about the Snowflake architecture. You can think of this architecture as consisting of three layers. There's the database storage layer, which is very concerned with the physical layout of the data and optimizations therein. The query processing layer, which takes queries, figures out the right query execution plans, and then executes them. And finally, there are the cloud services and the managing of interactions with the cloud platforms. The database storage consists of the actual bytes, and remember that Snowflake is a big data technology, so there's no upper limit on the size or the type of the data that you store. Query processing is managed using something known as virtual warehouses, and while we are working with Snowflake, you'll see that we actually provision warehouses and make deliberate choices about the kind of compute that we will be using. For instance, in Snowflake, you might have one warehouse which you only use for data loading purposes and another more powerful warehouse that you use to satisfy your queries. Such choices are required of you in Snowflake and they are hidden away in other database technologies. It's worth keeping in mind though that the primary abstraction for all of the underlying compute is the warehouse object. That's going to be something that we will work with quite a bit. Then there are the cloud services, and these include authentication and access control, as well as modules for security, metadata management, optimization, and infrastructure management. Snowflake relies on a hybrid of shared disk and shared nothing architectures. The database storage layer is shared disk, the query processing layer is shared nothing. This database storage layer is a centralized data repository for all data loaded into Snowflake. This data can be accessed by all query processing nodes in the platform. Remember that the query processing nodes are associated with the warehouses. It's worth remembering again, Snowflake has a proprietary internal data format. There's nothing either free or open source about Snowflake. This internal format is compressed, columnar, and highly optimized. You might be aware that other cloud-based warehouses also have similar internal data formats. Snowflake then manages the data from end to end. This includes the metadata, statistics, profiling, structure, and organization. The data is not directly accessible to the users. The only way that you can access that data is via SQL queries that you run on the Snowflake platform. You can see here that there are many features that Snowflake has in common with BigQuery, for instance. This absence of direct data access makes the query processing layer all that much more important. Remember that the query processing layer consists